Today we're at St Wilfrids Church, Davenham, old church, and the spire on it is unbelievable. If you go anywhere near Northwich or in the area, you can see this spire for miles and miles around. So let's go and investigate. So we enter up these steps and we're surrounded and walk over all these old gravestones. A lot of these 1788, 1794. Seems disrespectful to walk over them, but you've got no choice really. 1775, a 36-year-old, really elaborate grave. And so much writing on this you can't really read it. Another elaborate one. You have to be careful on these because you can soon slip on them. Can't quite make out the dates on some of them. It's a 1961. And we have a big one here. 1849, 1784. And the area is really divided into two. We have the old graveyard, and as we walk down we come to the new one. And we have two monolithic graves here. There's one here all surrounded by metal, so obviously high status. Can't quite make out what it says. 1877. I mean, this one, this is a grave and a half, and it does mention somebody from Bostock Hall, and I used to work at Bostock Hall as a head gardener, which is just down the road from Davenham. I mean, this is really high status, the size of this tomb and the metalwork around it. You can perhaps see some from here, 1792. And you can see the new graveyard. It's sort of split, that the old church one is high up and the new one, there's a few old ones on the new side, but most of this is new graves. It does go quite a way down there. Now this is obviously a massive grave, but you can't make anything out. But next to it is a tomb and a half. It looks very posh. Massive size. Nearly broke my neck. Again, can we read it? Somebody aged 66, William Worthington, Mary. You can't really make out the lettering on it. A few of the old graves, there's plenty around. Some are hard to read. December the 7th, 1844. And 1872. Another one here that's cracked. 1893, age 80 years that. You see a lot of sort of flat stones and they've now been covered in moss and you can't see who or what they are or were. There's one here with a bit of wire around it. Now you can see it's cracked. And they put a bit of wire around it to try and keep it together. It's got little mini urn on it and you can't make out the writing at all. And it is like a ploughed field here. (1910). Once a graveyard's full, the local council take it over and not the church, so whether this is now owned by the local council who do nothing about it. Another one starting to rot. We're under a tree here, so I have a difficulty to see, but this is 1778 from Davenham. Well, then we do come down to nearer the bottom. You can see there's some old graves in the new graveyard, so they're just sort of on this borderline. There's a war grave over there. One here completely covered in ivy. Nice big cross on this. Can't make out the detail. You can see the spire from here. And we're coming across one of the most interesting graves. Got some here 1876. It's a wet day. 1883. I'm trying to make out this symbol on that. George and Sarah Bowden, aged 1 year and 5 months. And the churchyard itself is full of young children that died, because we're not that far from Liverpool and there was sort of smallpox, diphtheria. Well, the most interesting grave we'll come across, we've got this cross at the back and another one. And what's this one all about? Can't unfortunately read it, but it's got 4, I don't know, they're supposed to be angels with shields. But the shields are different, and that one's got a cross. That one's... I don't quite know what that one is. That one's got a cross and 4 different shields. It's just unreadable, the what's on it. It's all covered in moss and just not eligible, but I mean, this is certainly a different tomb, isn't it? And this whole area is sort of high status. We've got another one there, 1833, died 1910. We've got a big one here, can only make some of it out. And just wish that they'd actually cut the damn grass and look after churchyards, because this is a graveyard. There's a difference, because a graveyard belongs to a church and will be consecrated. A cemetery is run by the local council or equivalent, or could be private. So this is an actual graveyard. These here are sort of obliterated by the tree, but obviously high status. Another one, Thomas Williams next to it. Big one here, very big stone. Cross. We're trying to get down without breaking his necks. A lot of these are that old, 1830, that it's rotted away. These are two very big ones. Can't quite make out the wording on them. And there's two here, sort of totally. I'm fighting my way through brambles and all sorts to get to them. I think that's probably a tomb there, but there's this one, 1869. Another high status one because it's surrounded by metal and you can't make it out what it says. We're under the trees here, so now this is an interesting one. I don't quite know what that's supposed to be, but it looks like a very angry woman at a pub or something. You can't make out the writing on it at all, but she doesn't look a happy bunny. Another one's got a bit of a lean on it, 1899. See the difference how some the writing on it. This one's 1889. Well, the writings stayed pretty good. Another one with quite good writing, 1847, or 1947. And there's some here in the trees you can't get to. This again is a common thing. You plant a little tree by the grave and 100 years later you've got a bloody big tree. Just having a scan round of the whole graveyard. It's just covered in trees, which is nice, but just cause problems for graves. I just come back up a bit by the main road, because some of these are old graves. 21-year-old there. This is quite interesting in the fact that it's got flowers on it. Goes back to 1848, 1872. Yet somebody's still putting flowers on it. Another one there. We have a tomb here. We did mention, how the hell did they ever get these tombs in place? Can't quite make this one out. You can't get these on a wheelbarrow, can you? 1882, some more. These are by the church. And they're 1870 on. There's a strange one there. Well, it does show here, look at the thickness of this gravestone. How the hell, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. It's 1883, so one there and somebody in 1904. But you're not going to have any modern machinery to lift this, so they've got to get it physically here, and then they've got to lay it down. A funny one, we can't quite make out the writing on it. Another old one there, 1786, 19-year-old. And we have got a lot of these flat ones again. It's the way to go, because these seem to last. But they are lethal trying to walk on them. Another one with a funny shape. Again, it's generally the ones up near the church, the closer to the church, the more higher the status. We've got a big rhododendron tree here, which in a couple of weeks will probably be lovely. Nice little symbol on this one. These are all covered in mould and stuff. You can see the state of the ground. I'm having a job to walk, and we have got the old mole. But there's just a great. You can sometimes see one that sticks out. So whether somebody's done that recent, that is really sticking out. Again, we see a tomb where somebody's planted a little tiny rhododendron, and now the rhododendron's taken over. And we still have plenty of old graves here. Bit new in 1913, 1826. Little mini urn on the top of that one. You see again, we have got these massive trees. Quite a common design in this area. Got this strange coloured stone. 1915. Another one with the same sort of triangle design. A lot of these you can see are falling over, presumably the root trees are doing all this. Another one, 1885, and well, that's been looked after, but it's writing's just perfect. Another one, 1884. It must be down to the quality of the stonemason. Because nowadays you've got all these black ones and they're all done by computer and they all look exactly the same. And these would all be hand carved, wouldn't they? There's no computers back in the day, was there? We now venture down the bottom. I do say ventured because it's like a ploughed field down here. So obviously These are a lot lower status graves. Whether it's damaged just due to the trees, but it's in a right state. All the graves are falling over. But strangely, we do have war graves down here. Now we do work with the war graves that will take evidence of how the war graves are, so they can then look and see if they need to come and clean it. Machine gun, Royal Air Force pilot. You do see that somebody usually comes and puts the little crosses on. It is sort of a wild area here. There's a bit of a stream running there. And we have got some snowdrops coming up. So it's a much more wild area we've got here. And it's reflected in the state of the graves. Still more war graves. You can see the difference here. We've got some snowdrops coming out. Well, this is a World War I war grave. You can see the colour of that. Whereas that's a World War II, so totally like a black granite and like a sandstone. Obviously these need to be cleaned, so we'll inform the War Graves Commission, who come round and clean them as and when required. I mean, that's a never-ending job. They must have billions of graves to look after. And it's a lovely place with all the trees, but as I say, it does ruin the graves. You can see the spire again. It really is a ploughed field down here. I mean, it's not £1 million to keep this tidy, is it? So very often the council will only sort of trim it twice a year. And trimming is the worst thing, because you've only got a blade like 6 or 8 inches wide. Whereas you get a lawnmower, you can get it 32 inches, so you can do so much more. We've got more war graves at this end. Another one there, World War II. And again, you can see all the graves they're all leaning. You can perhaps see or hear the cars, it's not far away. Very often the war graves are all together, so why these are all sort of spread out? Because they would all be of a similar time, wouldn't they? Some old graves at the back there, war grave. On Sarah there, 1890. Actual war grave. All these are under the tree. Under the trees there's quite a few graves. I'm trying to work out what this one is, because somebody's put a cross there. That's usually a soldier, but I can't see any mention of a soldier. Or again, these were probably a little tiny tree planted with them. We do get to an area now where there's a lot of children's grave. There's one there, is it 13 months? I said previously that there's a lot of disease round about the 1800s in Liverpool, which isn't too far away, and it is reflected here. All these graves covered in ivy. I mean, some people like this wild thing for graves, but I mean, really, when you sign up, you want to know that it's going to be kept tidy or it's going to be wild. You don't want to think you're going to have a nice tidy grave and then they let it go wild. Well, it is generally an excuse by the council. They call it a wildlife area, which means they don't have to do now. Well, we've sort of come back to the middle bit. There's a lot of open space here, so whether there's still room for more graves or what, it's hard to see. We've got 3, 4 there. We've got a war grave here. We've got 4, all with the same design. So whether this is a family plot, yeah, they all seem to be Thomases, don't they? So it's 3 graves, but they made the gravestone into like one big gravestone. And this is a very elaborate one, but over the years it's certainly rotted away. But that does present well, doesn't it, with the 3 into 1. Up near the church we have these, I can't tell the dates because they're too far gone. We've got the old blackbird, it sounds like. Another one with a nice cross on. Again, more under the trees. One there, 18-year-old. And this is a gravestone and a half, 1885. Do sort of see a lot of these turning this strange colour. This green, fluorescent green. Imagine coming at night, couldn't you? And this really standing out. Another one there, aged 16 years. A lot of these are falling apart. Sun's starting to come out and brighten the day up. All tightly packed here. I wonder how they actually all got them all in. Big old tomb. I mean, these are all very tight together, so going back to 1796, young child, 16 years old there. This section's right near the church. Again, a nice little grave, and they probably planted this tree, and it's probably now destroying the grave. Obviously a family grave there because it's all the same name, from Crewe, which is where I come from, quite a way away. They're really two old ones there. Again, we've got the big flags. Just look at the gargoyles on the church. Some of these are quite frightening, don't know what it's actually supposed to be. There's more as you look up. But these very big slabs, as I call them. Another one there. Again, there's a little cross, so somebody must know that that's a war, you know, somebody from the forces. There's some sort of indication on it. On there, 73 years. 9-month-old died. There's quite a few because say whether it was diphtheria or there was all sorts, wasn't there, around about the 1800s, diphtheria, meningitis, scarlet fever. Took a lot of young children back then. I had scarlet fever when I was a child and just lucky to survive. Just looking at the old clock tower. Sad thing is the church is never open nowadays. One time churches were always open, you could go in and pray or whatever. A lot more of the flat stones. Nice little sort of entrance. Again, quite bare up here really. I thought there'd been more graves. There's plenty of these big stones everywhere. I mean, the really high status actually get buried in the church next to the altar. Sort of going nowhere here, suddenly drop off the end. Now just have a look at this new area. It just seems a bit strange that there's a distinct wall there, which is the church, and it ends. We have some of these old graves. I mean, 90% of it's all new graves. Well, some of these back to 1845. Most of the old ones seem near the church boundary. (1953), 1984. Another one there, 1928, 2 years old, 2 years and 2 months. So why the distinct boundary there? And even stranger really is that there's some war graves here. You'd expect them to all be in the old part. 1946 war grave. You can see most of them are all new graves. There's another war grave up there. But why we've ended up in this situation where all the graves are exactly the same, they're all black, all gold writing. There's no individuality, is there? There's an odd one where somebody's gone to town. I mean, in these, you stick it on a computer, it prints out a stencil, they stick it on, either laser etch it or sandblast it. Job done. Not like the old days, some of the carvings you see. Just looking at going down to this odd one here because it's different. Can't make out the writing, but it's obviously sort of two children. Another one there with a little cross on, because a beloved son killed in France and laid to rest January 1917, age 22. Now they are entitled to a war grave, but some prefer the family grave, and it's still classed as a war grave and still looked after by the War Graves Commission, but it can be very hard to actually find some of these. The sun's just starting to rise. I'm just listening to the sound. As soon as you say that, they shut up. We can hear the birds, and there's a big main road just the other side of the hill there. Somewhere in this tree there's a, sounds like a blackbird, isn't it? Just notice this one from Hunter's Lock, Northwich, or Hunter's Lock is a, as it says, a lock for narrowboat. So where there's a lock keeper. And it's not showing up very well on video, but the sun's more a bit higher. The sun's just rising over the church and it looks very sort of holy. So the Lord's arriving. Well, that concludes this video really. Just a couple of lonesome graves by the church, a tomb. We get to read it. And these flat graves. I'm absolutely soaking wet. I just hope people appreciate this, because it's an hour's travel, an hour getting soaking wet and plodding through ploughed fields, and an hour post-production. I just hope that people will appreciate it. If you want to see more, my main thing is Google Maps, so if you Google this on Google Maps, you'll see a lot more photos taken at different times of the year.